Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Haya Barhoom from the Islamic University, and today in my presentation I will discuss something important in translation, which is how to translate humor and jokes. The first thing that we have to know, what is a humor? Humor is a literary tool that makes audiences laugh or that intends to induce amusement or laughter. Its purpose is to break the monotony, boredom, and to make the audience's nerves relax. Humor is often found in literature, theater, movies, and advertising, where the purpose is to make the audience laugh. As we all know, smile is a universal greeting. But do you think translating jokes would be easy? Let's see. Humor is, without doubt, one of the hardest things to translate. It has been controversial among scholars since a long time. It is possible to translate jokes, but it can be difficult for two reasons. The first reason is that the humorous expressions are generated by language. There is the comic that language expresses and the comic that language creates. The first type, which the language expresses it, can be translated and transmitted into many different languages. And for the second, it can be translated at all as the language in it is the content of humor. These expressions has sense of humor just for its environment and culture. We can't translate them literally. The second reason, which is culture plays a significant role in dealing with this kind of translation. Since the sense of humor varies from one culture to another, and what sounds funny in the Palestinians' culture doesn't necessarily sound that funny in other cultures, for example. And as a lot of humor depends on culture differences and local references, you will find that funniness and translatability are inversely correlated. There are some techniques for translating jokes. The first technique, which is literal translation, and the second is translating the meaning. The first thing The first technique for translating jokes, it is literal translation. This technique the translators uh, uses in order to keep the linguistic structure of the original text. Let's see some examples. The first example here is that it is taken um, from the Friends series, the famous series. We all know it. It's called Friends. Rose says here must be. الترجمة هنا روز شو بيقول سأذهب للحمام. This is how Arab people express their need for going to the bathroom. The direct meaning isn't humorous at all, but the humorous about it is that it is used to interrupt an argument. So Rose here chooses to go to the bathroom in order not to participate in such an argument. Another example for literal translation is it is also taken from the French series. There was a crooked man with a crooked smile who lived in a shoe for a while. ترجمة الحرفية ثمة رجل منحرف ذو ابتسامة منحرفة وكان يعيش في حذاء لفترة. Using the literal translation strategy caused an inevitable loss in the humor. This sentence was said to describe a friend who has a crooked smile. Let's move to another technique, which is translating the meaning. Here in this strategy, the translator can add more expressions to keep the sense of humor. For example, snail, hold your horses now, kid, I can't sing too. ترجمة سريع هتعمل ايه لو عرفت اني بغني كمان تعالي لي يا بطة. Here it is not a literal translation. Adding the sentence تعاليلي يا بطة is for evoking laughter. If the translator used literal translation here, it wouldn't have the sense of humor at all. And if the text, for example, was a video, it would be for matching the lip movement. If you count the words in the sentence, you will find it 9. And if the translator used the literal translation word for word strategy, the number of the words would have been too short for the lip movements. So it will not make sense. Let's move to another example for translating the meaning technique. We all know the famous song of Timon wa Pumbaa cartoon, Hakuna Matata. The literal translation for this phrase is that there are no problems. It wasn't translated literally. The translator kept the term the same. He also tried to give the meaning of Hakuna Matata through the translation of the other sentences like ارمي الماضي اللي يغيظ ونساوي المستقبل اديه كل التركيز. تمام. The second sentence here is Hakuna Matata ain't no passing craze. It is a question, but in the translation you will notice that it is an imperative form. At last, I would like to say that, of course, it is possible to translate jokes, but it can be difficult because jokes often depend on inside knowledge that has to be explained to outsiders. As the saying goes, if you have to explain a joke, it is not funny anymore. When you find yourself in a situation where you are asked to translate an impossible joke, the best thing to do is simply acknowledge the person is telling a funny. You may be able to relay the basic jest. Sorry, you can say he's telling a joke about how bad he needs to go somewhere or to make something, for example. Thanks for watching.